we have subsistence farmers. Farmers that only produce for themselves, for their family. Instead of buying outside, they produce it. Some goods are produced for home consumption. Yes or no? So these goods are not traded. And for the fact that they are not traded, it means they are not recorded. But money is going through them. Yes or no? So which means what those home produced goods or services are not, doesn't have information like through the statistic. Government does not know about it because it is not recorded. So the national income is not complete. Goods are exchanged for money, but we don't have the records because they are home produced goods. But these home produced goods sometimes might have to be produced with some raw materials that has been imported. So some figures are missing. We have imported raw materials, but the conversion to finished goods are not seen out there. Do you get the point I'm making here? Hello? Are you here? Do you get the point, please? Yes. So sometimes the value of home produced goods makes the GDP inaccurate. The next one, the hidden economy. The hidden economy is an economy that is unreported. We could call it the black economy. Most of the time we have black economy because people want to avoid or evade tax.
Is black economy like the black market?
Yes. So things in the black economy is not known. People want to evade tax. They don't want to pay tax. They don't want to pay the full amount of tax they are supposed to pay. They don't even want to pay at all. Some people want to bypass regulations. They want to do what government doesn't want them to do. Money is exchanged, but it is not recorded. So it means the value of GDP we have is not accurate. Do we get the point here, please? The next one, GDP and living standards. When we talk about living standards, how well people are living in a country. So the GDP of a country might increase, but does this literally mean that the living standard of that country has improved? We don't know. Because there are some different factors that will make us to know if the country has improved or not. GDP might have increased, but the output, the living standard might not improve. Take Nigeria as an example. The GDP of Nigeria is more than that of Libya. But Libya might have a better living standard than Nigeria. So how are we going to know that? We have to use other factors to compare. One, the amount of leisure time people have. How many times do people leave work? Like they are off work. How many times do they do that? Do people have a leisure time at all? Or they work, and work? This is the first thing you have to put into consideration. Two, the gap between the rich and the poor. Yeah, the GDP of the country, the GDP of the country is increasing. Are we sure the gap between the rich and the poor is not so wide? Maybe we have some few people that are billionaires, and we have a lot of people that are in poverty. But because they are billionaires, the income of that country would increase, but it does not reflect in the living standard of the people. So we have to understand the gap between the rich and the poor. How do you put it? Is it smaller or wider? Do you get it? So if the gap between the rich and poor is so wide, it means the living standard is not improving, irrespective of what the GDP is. Is it clear? Yes. The next one, whether growth has resulted in pollution. What is pollution? Different situations that there's water pollution, there's air pollution. These things contaminate the environment. So the country is growing. How is the country growing? Is it through pollution?
Financially.
No, yeah, the country is growing financially, but what about pollution? The environment. Do we have an healthy environment or not? We need to think about that too. So are we going at the detriment of our own health? At the detriment of the environment? That is not ideal. Do you get the point here? And the last one, the quality of goods and services. Yeah, the country is producing goods and services. What is the quality of those goods and services produced? What is the quality? We need to know. Are we just producing fake goods, fake services in large quantities? Because there's a difference between quantity and quality. So whatever this country produces, it has to be quality. Do we understand? So this also has to be put into consideration. Because if you are not consuming quality goods, it will affect you after later on. Do you get the point here? And the last one is external cost. I'm not talking about external cost. External cost is the cost to the third party. Who are the third party? Third party, that's the question, right? Third party are those who are not involved in that action or decision of yours. So whatever decision I make, and it affects you, you are the third party. Because you're not part of the decision making. I made the decision. And I should bear the consequence. Do you understand? So if I'm bearing the consequence, it's a private cost. But if you are part of the consequence, if you are part of the one paying for that action of mine, it's an external cost. And that is a market failure. Because external cost exceeds private cost. Or your social cost exceeds your private cost. That is a market failure. So market failure is also part of what affects the GDP. We don't think about the society, we don't think about the resources that are used, but we continue to produce goods. We continue to increase our GDP, not putting into consideration the generation after us, that are coming after us, sorry. So there's no sustainable development. So these are all things, all factors that are all the limitations of GDP. Are they clear? Thank you.
Yeah.